This isn't just tabloid noise, it's the storm before the reckoning. Joe Rogan, never one to shy away from controversy, just dropped explosive evidence that could unravel everything Sean "Diddy" Combs has built. Forget rumors. This is hard, damning material tied directly to the federal case already shaking the foundations of hip-hop royalty. Rogan's reveal doesn't just name names. It connects the dots between decades of silence, manipulation, and fear. If true, it won't just end Diddy's career. It could take down a whole system of power that thrived behind velvet ropes. This is bigger than music. This is the fall of an empire. He testified that over the years, multiple off-air guests, bodyguards, assistants, producers, had warned him about what really happened at Diddy's infamous parties. These weren't just over-the-top celebrations. They were events guests described as ritualistic and deeply unsettling. Phones were confiscated, people were blindfolded, security staff enforced strict silence, and most disturbing of all, hidden cameras documented everything. Rogan said a former security staffer had once told him about a private server, hidden deep inside a vault in Diddy's Miami mansion. The room, accessible only by biometric scan, was allegedly home to encrypted hard drives. They called it the Black Box. It held not just party footage, but blackmail material, secret recordings, and leverage on everyone from celebrities to executives and even politicians. The witness claimed this black box wasn't just for safekeeping. It was Diddy's ultimate protection plan, a kind of unspoken threat hanging over anyone who stepped out of line. And it wasn't just one person saying this. Rogan presented overlapping accounts from multiple sources, each telling the same story from different corners of the industry. But Rogan didn't stop there. He read from his notes about interviews that never made it to air. One guest, a former tour manager, said the parties were more than wild. They were dangerous. Another, a producer invited to a 2015 event, claimed he saw hidden cameras inside smoke detectors and people slipping substances into drinks. He said he was offered hush money after turning over his memory cards. He never saw that footage again. Rogan told the court that while some stories were anecdotal, too many aligned perfectly to be dismissed. And when lawsuits started piling up against Diddy, Rogan said he recognized names and behavior patterns that matched what his guests had whispered about for years. One particularly disturbing claim involved a music video director who said he was blackmailed into filming Diddy's parties for over a decade. He never released the footage, fearing the consequences. According to Rogan, that fear was justified. Then came the celebrity connections. Rogan mentioned a guest who said Jay-Z, LeBron James, and other high-profile names were aware of what happened at these events. Some were present. Others turned a blind eye. None spoke out. Rogan described Jay-Z as a ghost walking through the rooms, seeing but not seen. He clarified that he wasn't accusing these stars of participating, but emphasized that silence in the face of abuse is complicity. And too many people had been silent for far too long. At one point, Rogan referenced Elon Musk, who casually brought up Jennifer Lopez on Rogan's podcast. Musk questioned why she never spoke out, despite having dated Diddy and attended his parties. The clip went viral, but the question remained: why hadn't she ever said anything? Rogan brought the jury back to the infamous 1999 nightclub shooting involving Shine. J-Lo was there. Diddy walked free. Shine went to prison. Jennifer stayed with Diddy for 2 more years. It raised deeper questions, not just about complicity, but about the unspoken rules of power, fame, and protection. Rogan also detailed how he'd received warnings to stop discussing Diddy, anonymous emails, legal threats. One message, traced back to a PR firm tied to Rock Nation, simply read, "Don't dig too deep." He refused to stay quiet. He described one chilling email from a whistleblower who claimed they were hired to recover data from a corrupted server. The contents allegedly showed party guests in compromising situations. Rogan didn't air it. He archived it, assuming federal investigators would eventually find it. Then came testimony about the notorious yacht party. For years, people dismissed it as a myth, a whispered legend in the music world. But Rogan had two sources who were there: one crew member, one guest. They described a scene that shifted drastically once the yacht reached international waters. Phones were taken, curtains drawn, a private room locked. Guests rotated in and out by the hour. Some staff were told to spike drinks. Cameras were hidden inside mirror frames. One guest said it looked like performance art, but it wasn't. It was real, and very famous people were watching. According to Rogan, after the yacht docked, that guest was offered money to stay quiet. He refused. 2 weeks later, someone broke into his apartment. The only thing missing? His external hard drives. Meanwhile, the prosecution built its case using direct testimony from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner and recording artist. She described a pattern of control that began when she was just 19. Diddy managed her career, finances, and personal life. She said the so-called freak-off sessions weren't about consent. They were part of a larger operation. And even when their relationship was rocky, her participation was still expected. The case also referenced other artists Cassie worked with, including French Montana and Fabulous, all part of the web of influence Diddy used to keep her tethered to his world. Witnesses said she produced music that was never released, locking her in contractual limbo. Control wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. Even when Cassie tried to confide in friends, they were reportedly threatened. Don Richard, a former bandmate, testified that Diddy had screamed at her to stay out of his relationship. She said the environment at Bad Boy Records felt like a kingdom, one where disobedience came with consequences. Rogan's testimony didn't feel like a headline. It felt like history shifting. As he stood before the jury, his voice didn't shake. He wasn't just exposing one man, he was exposing a machine. The industry I once looked up to, he said, was built on image and illusion. And silence. Silence was the price of admission. He spoke of secret parties, lost tapes, and people too scared to speak. People who had everything to lose if the truth came out. Then came his final words, words that left the room frozen. If even one of those tapes plays in court, half this industry is finished. He wasn't being dramatic. He was being honest. It wasn't about cancel culture or clickbait. It was about power, how it's used, who wields it, and what happens when someone finally says, enough. When Rogan stepped off the stand, Diddy didn't raise his head. The courtroom was still, not out of respect, but out of realization. A wall had cracked, a veil had been lifted, and what lies beneath is still being uncovered. This isn't over. This is just the beginning. And if the truth does surface, it won't just shake hip-hop, it could burn the whole house down. Stay alert. Like this video, share it to raise awareness, and subscribe for ongoing coverage of this historic case. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who should testify next? What secrets still remain hidden? Your voice matters. Because in a world built on silence, the truth is the loudest weapon of all. Thanks for watching.